Kiambia hii mahaka wako wengi wa kuhaka. Nitakuwa naeleza mahakama ulo.
Wewe kwanza hata usinikumbuse. Kakifika sana kwa nyumba si unasemanga I don't know what to say. Cause everything you do is good.
Ngoja pap what? Pap what?
Mzee. Wewe.
Thibitisho wakapiga lile simu na nikalilia kwa mfuko la babuni.
Analudia.
Wewe kaka huko. Lakini wewe mzee.
Papa
koti wewe.
Ananiita.
Uheshimu koti. Ala?
Kanina niita namna hiyo. Mimi tulikuwa na wewe nikihaki hiyo kwa hizo Twitter.
Sikuwa lakini
kulingana na kwa nini unaeleza mahakama ulongo?
Akwa. Nakusamee maana ujui unalotenda.
Wewe ndio ujui.
Uachiliwe uende nyumbani.
Okay.
Sikufuguli huku mpaka uniambie mbona umekuja huku. Never ever ask me that question again. Okay?
Please no. You parked and left us. I mean, who does that? Your own kids. I left you a rich dad. Really?
Just pack up and leave. And I am like your father. And you can learn a lot from me.
I haven't learned a lot from my own father.
Please leave my son's office before I call security on you.
There's one department I've not met. By all means, please do. Call them.
I just need your help speaking to my children.
Oh, the mighty Kathy can beg.
Please.
Karen, open the door, please.
They will fight for their love until the end.
Easter is here with us.
The Spirit of the Lord is upon me.
A walk through the streets of Jerusalem. The cross and the mockery that came with it.
Are you the King of the Jews? This man? A king?
The death and the resurrection. The story of Christ Jesus during Easter through the lenses of John.
I baptize you with water.
Mark, Matthew, and Luke.
Blessed are you poor, for yours is the kingdom of God.
Marking Easter by bringing the Bible to life only on KBC Channel 1.
He has risen. He's not dead. Don't cry. Wipe your eyes.
Kiambia hii mahaka wako wengi wa kuhaka. Nitakuwa naeleza mahakama ulo.
Wewe kwanza hata usinikumbuse. Kakifika sana kwa nyumba si unasemanga I don't know what to say. Cause everything you do is good.
Ngoja pap what? Pap what?
Mzee.
Pap what?
Wewe.
Thibitisho wakapiga lile simu na nikalilia kwa mfuko la babuni.
Analudia.
Wewe kaka huko. Lakini wewe mzee.
Papa
koti wewe.
Ananiita.
Uheshimu koti. Ala?
Kanina niita namna hiyo. Mimi tulikuwa na wewe nikihaki hiyo kwa hizo Twitter.
Sikuwa lakini kulingana na
kwa nini unaeleza mahakama ulongo?
Akwa. Nakusamee maana ujui unalotenda.
Wewe ndio ujui.
Uachiliwe uende nyumbani.
Okay.
On cinemas and theater this episode.
Courage.
or die in cowardice.
Join me, Jacqueline Masharia, as we review the film Mission to Rescue.
KBC Board of Directors, Management and Staff wishes all our esteemed listeners, viewers and clients a happy Easter. May Christ's death and resurrection fill you with hope and peace. Happy Easter from us.
Open the door, please.
They will fight for their love until the end.
The legendary run to Olympia Stadion in Berlin is now less crowded, with only 4 teams out of 64 still in contention. Something more outstanding is that all of the sides to have won the DFB Pokal over the last 29 years are already out this year.
And Leverkusen are knocked out by a Bundesliga 2 side.
In the first DFB Pokal semi-final, Hamburger SV will face Freiburg on Tuesday, the 19th of April 2022 at 9:45 p.m. While in the second semi-final, RB Leipzig will lock horns with Union Berlin on Wednesday, the 20th April 2022 at 9:45 p.m. Having braced the turbulent journey and buoyed up with the trophy in sight, no team want to go down without a fight. You don't want to miss this adventurous football show, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Good evening, welcome to Prime Edition. I am Cynthia Nyamai. Now tonight we are going to tell you a story on Parliament and the drama that people witnessed today. We also have UDA nominations. We'll be taking you live to some parts of this country where the nomination is still ongoing. And in business, we take you all the way to Kisumu, where we speak to a young man in his 30s Sunday, telling us why he left his lucrative job and got into poultry farming. In sports, Karen is on standby and she will have various stories including police and the athletics. That and more coming up shortly, but first, let's have the highlights.
The pump prices of super petrol, diesel and kerosene increases by 9 shilling and 90 cents per litre respectively.
Brace for tougher times. Fuel up by 9 shillings as government cracks whip on errant dealers. Out of order. National Assembly is forced to adjourn early as heated debate takes center stage. Litmus test, UDA conducts party primaries countrywide. Scales of justice. Mumia's company receiver manager is shown the door. Well, tonight our sign interpreter is Lucy Maura. And remember, we would like to hear from you. Send in your comments on our social media pages. On KBC, we are on Facebook, Twitter, and also Instagram. Now, the cost of living is expected to further rise after the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, IPRA, increased fuel prices by 9 shillings and 90 cents. IPRA Director General Daniel Kipto said that the hike would have been as much as 40 shillings and 24 cents were it not for a fuel subsidy by the government.
Fuel prices will trade at a record high after Thursday's review. The saw prices increased by 9 shillings and 90 cents. A litre of super petrol will be cheapest in Mombasa at 142 and 36 cents, diesel at 123 and 26 cents, while kerosene will retail at 111 and 19 cents. In Nairobi, a litre of super petrol, diesel and kerosene will sell at 144 and 62 cents, 125 and 50 cents, and 113 and 44 cents respectively.
The period under review, the pump prices of super petrol, diesel and kerosene increases by 9 shilling and 90 cents per litre respectively.
Fuel will be most expensive in Mandera, where a litre of super petrol will retail at 157 and 65 cents, diesel at 138 and 55 cents, and kerosene at 126 and 48 cents.
In terms of the super grade, the actual calculated pump prices for the April to May cycle that will be commencing tomorrow is 173 shillings and 70 cents, and our actual published pump price will be 144 shillings and 62 cents. The difference is what will be compensated by the government, and for the super grade, the government will then compensate oil marketers and cushion consumers to the tune of 29 shillings and 8 cents.
Despite the high prices, EPRA says this month's fuel prices were heavily subsidized, as a litre of super petrol would have cost at 173 and 70 cents, diesel at 165 and 74 cents, and kerosene at 139 and 89 cents in Nairobi.
Wish as EPRA to assure the public that of our continued commitment to observe fair competition and protection of interests of particularly consumers as well as investors in the energy and petroleum sectors.
It's still tough times at the pumps for Kenyans as the cost of fuel goes up by 10 shillings and the shortage is expected to last for another 72 hours.
EPRA now says it's contemplating initiating policy change on fuel marketers' operations and agreements to further regulate the sector in measures aimed at preventing a crisis such as fuel shortages witnessed over the last 3 weeks. Modalities are on to compensate fuel marketers who sold their February consignment in March due to shortages witnessed over the past few weeks. Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
Now, still on fuel prices, where 10 marketing companies are under investigations for hoarding fuel during the last 3 weeks that supply challenges have been experienced in the country. Energy CES Ambassador Monica Juma said Thursday the fuel marketers exported fuel at the expense of the local market, causing a shortage of fuel, and which was a contravention of the law. The CS said the government has lifted a moratorium on the movement of fuel tankers to ease supply.
Mafuta kama lita moja tulikuwa tunauziwa 300. Na ile place tunaendea mafuta ni mbali. Unapata unatumia mafuta uendea mafuta.
The last 3 weeks have been nothing short of trying, if not difficult, for motorists as they literally hunted for fuel.
Whether the prices have been reviewed or not, that the fuel that we need for our cars is available for our use. That is the most important thing that we need as at now.
This is despite government releasing 34.4 billion shillings it owed oil marketers 10 days ago. The government has termed the move as an economic sabotage, and those involved will be brought to book.
So whoever owns it, because the government does not own a single litre of fuel, somebody has it and is not giving it to you. That is the classic definition of hoarding.
we as a regulator, and I just want to give an assurance that we are governed by the rule of law and will pursue the course of the law to its logical conclusion.
So far, 10 fuel marketing companies are under investigation for hoarding fuel by deliberately opting to export fuel than supply the local market, creating a shortage that is in contravention of the law.
Thereby tilting the normal local to transit ratio, which should be 60 local, 40 transit.
To ease the fuel crisis, oil marketing companies have been directed to redesignate part of their transit stocks currently stored within the Kenya Pipeline Company system for the local market. The government has further directed that all petrol stations operate around the clock, with the National Police Service offering them security.
The government will not abdicate on its solemn duty to secure the nation and to bring anyone or any corporation that undermines our national interest to accountability.
Fuel marketers that sold above their normal local quota during the fuel shortage period will have their allocation quota increased, while those who sold less fuel will have their capacity reduced. The rationalization of the petroleum import capacity sharing is aimed at creating a healthy balance between transit and local volumes.
The regulator has undertaken investigations to establish exactly who or what institution is culpable of hoarding this precious commodity that has thrown the country into an artificial fuel shortage that threatened to bring business to a halt. And at the same time, government has assured Kenyans that in the next 72 hours, fuel will be available. I'm Regina Manyara and you're watching KBC Channel 1.
Well, as I told you, we'll be taking you live as UDA is going through their nominations. We do have the Deputy President, William Ruto, who is currently speaking. Let's go there.
I want to say largely smoothly. We had hiccups in the morning. I know the members of the National Election Board, I left them in the office at 2 a.m. last night. And when I came back, they were still there this morning. They have done their utmost to put this piece of work together. Let me thank our aspirants. Many of them, although all of us know that elections are very emotive, they are very involving, engaging, financially, emotionally, physically. And I want to thank them for being patient. Many of them have been patient. When some polling stations opened late, they were patient. And I want to say the exercise has taken place in 16,000 plus polling centers. And we have had challenges. We've had to postpone a few areas that the chair of the board has announced here, and we've had challenges in between 100 and 200 polling centers out of the 16,000. As we talk in this press conference, there are areas in Nyandarua.
United Democratic Alliance Party leader, Deputy President William Ruto, speaking on a day that has been seen as the ultimate.
Well, that's all what partnership is all about. Now, moving on, controversial debate on the allegations of land grabbing by Deputy President William Ruto degenerated into chaos, forcing Parliament to prematurely adjourn Thursday afternoon. Tempers flared in the House as Wajir woman Representative Fatuma Gedi presented documents to prove her claims. In the midst of the heckling, Embakasi East MP Babu Owino was caught in the wrong, and when he defied orders to leave the chambers, the Speaker Justin Muturi adjourned the House for disorderly conduct.
Wajir woman Representative Fatuma Gedi had arrived in Parliament with a suitcase said to be containing a dossier to substantiate her claims that Deputy President William Ruto had allegedly grabbed several pieces of land in the country.
Because today is a historic day. Because we will see where somebody got a nickname from.
Please, Honorable, what is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, let me begin with the substantiation of my assertion that William Ruto grabbed the belonging to Adel Muteshi, a parcel of land, 33 Tapsogoi, of which Albert was given vacant possession in 1968, subsequently raised with a deed was issued on 17th March 1989. Honorable Speaker, let me narrate. The ordeal of the innocent Kenya went through in the hands of William Ruto. Let me explain.
Have you tabled?
I have not tabled, I have it here. What am I tabling? What am I tabling? I have to explain.
No, table
I have to explain. No, I must explain. Kenyans must know. I must explain. What am I tabling? No.
Gedi seemingly enjoying the support of Azimio la Umoja allied legislators who called for Speaker Justin Muturi's firmness on the matter, citing his political affiliations with Ruto.
When we saw in a hotel in Karen, Mr. Speaker, signatures and ceremony happening, you signing as the party leader of the Democratic Party, Mr. Speaker, we started now feeling that surely we might not get a fair treatment in the House, Mr. Speaker. There might be no impartiality, Mr. Speaker.
You have found it fit to take sides with the Deputy President, which means, by definition, in terms of whether we are safe in his hands, your answer has been yes. It therefore makes it difficult for you to come to a conclusion of fact in respect of that question by this member.
Legislators supporting the DP came to the Speaker's defense, even as he maintained that the political affiliation is his democratic right.
And Mr. Speaker, the procedure for the removal of a Speaker is known to every member.
The Speaker who is before you is unwilling to resign. Take it now, yes, we can take the bank.
The debate then degenerated into heckling, during which Embakasi East lawmaker Babu Owino was ruled disorderly and ordered to leave the chambers.
Babu Owino, out of the chamber.
Owino, however, defied the orders, prompting the Speaker to prematurely adjourn the House, even when its recess for the elections is due. For Prime Edition, I'm Gladys Mungai.
Well, the leadership of the African Independent Pentecostal Church of Africa has resolved to unite and bury differences that have split the church since 2005. The resolution was witnessed by President Uhuru Kenyatta during the consecration of the Holy Oil ceremony held in Murang'a County. President Uhuru Kenyatta, who initiated a peace process among the three conflicting archbishops, said he will continue championing for peace and unity in the country.
The 2022 consecration of the Holy Oil of the African Independent Pentecostal Church of Africa marked the end of 17 years of conflict that had split the church into three. President Uhuru Kenyatta's efforts to reconcile the three archbishops finally bearing fruit as the trio resolved to steer the flock as one.
For all those who have been in conflict for all those years, today is the final day for forgiving one another. Today is the final day of forgiving one. There are those who had not forgiven each other until even today.
I want to take this opportunity, His Excellency, to assure you that we have done that, and it is my hope that this church will never divide again.
The clergy lauded the president for initiating the peace process. The three archbishops also took vows using the holy oil, something that has never happened since 1993.
You have witnessed us exchanging vows with our holy oil, and that is binding because it has never been done like that. It was done in 1993 when the church had split for the first time. This is the second time, and we shall pray that God will help us never to come to this stage. Let it be we shall pray God that this will be final.
We have managed to bring all the organs that were not functioning properly in this church together: the Bishop's Synod, the Supreme Board, the Women Council, and the Youth Council. They are now functioning properly.
President Uhuru Kenyatta hailed the trio for reconciling, saying the church had contributed immensely in building the nation.
Na pia nawashukuru viongozi wenu kwa sababu safari hiyo haikuwa safari rahisi. Haikuwa safari ambayo haikuwa na milima na mabonde. Lakini wakaweka sifa, wakakataa kujipiga kifua, wakanyenyekea, wakafuata yale ambaye Mwenyezi Mungu alituambia, wakasameheana, wakashikana mikono, na leo hii vita imeisha na kanisa ni moja.
The head of state vowed to continue championing for peace and unity among all Kenyans. Gishoke Washira, Prime Edition.
Security has been heightened across the country of the Easter festivities. Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i says there will be extra police checks and roadblocks as the government seeks to heighten the level of security during the holy day period. The CS, who spoke in Nairobi when he flagged off 170 vehicles to ease mobility of deputy county commissioners across the country, further said security will be intensified as the country enters the electioneering period.
Security operations have been beefed up across the country ahead of the Easter festivities. Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i has called on Kenyans to be security conscious as they go about on their celebrations and report any suspicious cases to the relevant authorities. Some of the measures have been hinted to come with a level of inconvenience, with the CS asking Kenyans to bear with the situation for their safety.
We remain awake so that you can sleep. Our responsibility is to keep awake so that you can sleep as mwananchi. But even when we have remained awake and we meet you the following day, please be kind to these officers, cooperate with them, share information with our police officers.
The heightened security measures are set to continue during and after the electioneering period.
You will see us. We are going to be available. We will be in the churches with you. In some churches, we are going to insist on screening worshippers as you come in. Cooperate with us. We don't have anything wrong or an attitude towards the worshippers. We want to support you, but we also want to be sure that we know who has gone into that sanctuary during that place.
CS Matiang'i spoke in Nairobi during the flagging off of 170 vehicles to ease mobility of deputy county commissioners across the country. Yusufar reporting for Prime Edition.
Well, we'll take a short break, but when we come back, remember I told you in business, we will be taking you to Kisumu, finding out more about what the youth are doing in poultry farming. That and more coming up shortly.
Goodwill, all of us, and this is the government policy. We believe that the Kenya is large enough. Kenya potentiality is great. And all of us, and I'm not telling you this because I'm in your meeting, I'm telling you what I believe and what my government believes. That white, brown, black, can work together harmoniously in this country and make this country great.
Nabonga na watoi kujua mambo za online, pia na create time wafanye vitu offline. Chungeni gadgets na sites wana use, msiwache strangers wapate chance kuwa abuse.
Nimeshindaje pesa kwa pesa sija participate. Unadai info yangu na ikwe private say. Identity yangu haupati utumi. Vitu zangu ni zangu na bado nitazishikilia.
Una post story ati ni real news. Mimi sikuamini mpaka nione size of this. Una text online to me tunanifeel. Staki jokes mimi nitakureport for real.
Wazazi, watoi na maithu wetu. Don't be fooled. Get cyber smart and enjoy safe entertainment and education online.
The Communications Authority of Kenya. Mawasiliano kwetu, nguvu kwako.
Karen, open the door, please.
They will fight for their love until the end.
Welcome back. Now, the fuel shortage that has been witnessed over the last 3 weeks has been fodder for content on social media. Short videos and photos have painted the state of the affairs with a pinch of comedy. Teresa Mutai now samples some of your social media posts concerning the fuel shortage.
Fuel shortage, not a foreign term, just a distasteful word in the mouths of Kenyans. Hey, a warm welcome, or is it a VIP reception for a petroleum truck? A country facing a new problem. Welcome to Kenya. If there was a time when Kenyans were united by a common challenge, then surely this is the time as the state of affairs concerning fuel shortage got dire. Fuel has been scarce, queues long. Videos of these types have heavily circulated socials in recent weeks. Kenyans cannot fathom how this situation got this dire and when is it going to end? Comedian Blessed Njugush did not hesitate to give his views to a TV reporter who caught up with him on the queues ridiculing the fuel prices.
Wacha nikuambia Wakenya tuko sawa. Sisi hapa wote, mimi nimezunguka, unaweka dhao ya kuzunguka ukitafuta mafuta ingine. Yeah, but nipo at least tuko na super expressway inatusaidia.
Now, Kenyans were unbothered about their SIM cards being blocked when the matters got worse, as fuel prices have been hiked from the previous pump prices. These as it weary Kenyans online who are raising questions. Many don't seem to be in an agreement with an assurance that the country has sufficient fuel stocks. The Crushie asks, fuel prices up again? Thinking emoji. Pato says, now the fuel prices have shot up again. This life is becoming so unbearable for the mwananchi. It's me tweeted to Hameni, and Tony responded enthusiastically, passport iko ready. Simeon Ominde, just wait and see how swiftly the prices of commodities want to shoot up following EPRA announcing new rates for fuel. Same would take a century to implement if it involved a price reduction for fuel. For Abdallah, the message of fuel sufficiency in the country can only be equated to this picture of a young man playing tunes to the goat. It is clear that this situation will not be resolved overnight, but we might as well wait overnight to see what tomorrow brings. For Prime Edition, I am Teresa Mutai.
Remember, I told you we are always looking forward to your feedback. There's never a dull day in Kenya. I think my favorite is the tunes to the goat, kupigia mbuzi guitar. Now, let's take it a notch higher, a little bit more serious, to the UDA nominations. I want to take you to Embu and Bomet. We are now joined live by Kuria in Bomet. Kuria, give us the updates.
Thank you very much, Cynthia Nyamai, back at Broadcasting House. We are at the Hill School polling center in Keses sub-county, Uasin Gishu County. And polling stopped at around 7 p.m. What we have now are results starting to trickle in. This will serve as the tallying center for the Keses sub-county or Keses constituency, and also as the constituency tallying center. But very quickly, some very interesting results coming in, and I'll take you just through a bit of it before we go to Wycliffe or Catch in Bomet. As at now, in the gubernatorial race in Keses, Jonathan Chelilim is at 92. That is in this polling center, has got 92 votes. Sarah Serem has the same, 92. We have Julius Bitok at 100. Then we have Solomon Maritim getting 1 vote. Veska Kangogo getting 9 votes. David Singoi 5. Caleb Kositani getting 21. And of course, there are 11 disputed votes in this polling center. If you go to a constituency like Moiben, in a polling center called Kaliet, Chelilim B gets 263 votes. Kositani Caleb, the MP for Soy, getting 50. Bitok getting 25 votes. Sarah Serem 27. Kangogo Veska 5. Maritim got nothing. And then Singoe getting 7. In Soy constituency, particularly Kamngetuni polling center, Chelilim getting 357, Bitok getting 43, Kositani 149, that is Caleb Kositani, Veska Kagogo 3, Singoe 2, Maritim 1, and Serem 15, which of course tells you that Chelilim B has an edge over his competitors, at least in these 3 polling stations, and will be able to, get the final results. But let me just get Senator Millicent Omanga, who's been in charge of this exercise in very quickly. She's been in charge of this exercise in Keses, probably to give us a feel of how this has gone tonight. You've been in charge of this process, representing UDA. How would you rate the exercise so far?
So far, so good.
Yeah.
A few challenges which are normal in any elections, maybe logistical here and there, transportation delays and what have you. But so far, it's seamless. I would say so far we've not experienced any violence, just like other places. And I think things are moving smoothly, yes.
Being in charge, did you encounter complaints of people who registered just the other day with the IEBC, but then their names did not appear in the register because it appeared like the UDA party was using the 2017 register?
We were using the IEBC register, what IEBC gave us. So whatever they've not updated, then it's not in the register, then cannot be used. So we were using the IEBC register, whatever they gave us, yes.
Very quickly, what do we expect in this hall tonight?
This is our county tallying center, and shortly we'll start receiving ballots from several tallying sub-counties. So we finished tallying for this Keses constituency. So we are now preparing. You can see we are trying to put things in place. We are preparing so that we start receiving the ballots so that we tally here. This is the county tallying center, yes.
Thank you very much, Senator. Senator Millicent Omanga, obviously being in charge of this process in Keses and Uasin Gishu County. Obviously going by the results that I've given you so far from 3 polling stations in Uasin Gishu County, in terms of a gubernatorial race, you would say Jonathan B. Chelilim has an edge over his competitors. This could change, obviously, as the results continue to trickle in, but that's what we have for you so far. We'll keep updating you. For now, let me take you straight to Bomet. Our colleague Wycliffe for Catch is on standby. Wycliffe.
Well, thank you so much, JJ Curia in Western Gishu. We are, just like you put it, we are in Bomet County, where right now we are at a place called Tanwek High School, which is the Bomet County, or rather the Bomet Central Constituency Tallying Center. And if my colleague Martin Kivoti can just show you to my right, you can see now the results from various polling stations are already trickling in, and from as you can see from my to my right side, the officials that are manning this exercise, that includes the returning officer for this particular constituency, are already receiving the outcome, or rather the results from various polling stations, and verifying them alongside the agents of various aspirants to my left side. And basically that what is going on here is that now the results continue to trickle in from the various from the 88 polling stations that exist in Bomet Central constituency. Remember, I told you now the result that have arrived so far, there are 3 polling stations. And quickly, if I can just take you through one polling station where we have received the results, we can notice that in a place called Silhouette Tea Buying Center polling station. If I can just read for you the results quickly, we were talking about the senatorial position. Right now, we are talking about the incumbent Christopher Langat having 30 votes. That in Silhouette Tea Buying Center polling station. The nominated member of Parliament Wilson Sosion having 94 votes, and Wakili Hilary Sigei having 92 votes. That is for the senatorial seat. And talking about the gubernatorial seat, where the incumbent governor Hilary Balchok is battling it out with John Mosonek, who is actually the immediate former CAS in the Ministry of Petroleum and Mining. Here in this particular polling station, that is the Silhouette Tea Buying Center, Hilary Balchok is having 125 votes, while Mosonek having 92 votes. And talking about okay, fine. Let me quickly read for you the outcome or the results for various aspirants that are eyeing to fly the UDA ticket in the parliamentary seat. You see, we find Joyce Correa, who is actually the outgoing member of the women representative, having 67 votes. There is Richard Kilel having 110 votes. There is another candidate here, Kerich Charles, having 4, Patrick Rotich 21, Agnes. That is just one the results from just one polling station. So remember, I told you earlier that we have a total of about 88 polling stations in Bomet Central constituency. And from here, actually, from this police, from the Bomet Central Tallying Center, Constituency Tallying Center, we will be heading to the county Tallying Center, where now the final results from the 5 constituencies making up the Bomet County will be tallied, and provisional results issued to the candidates as they await for the original certificates back in the headquarters in Nairobi. And quickly, if I just give you the overview of the day, how it went. Remember, this exercise, the UDA nominations, was actually happening in 36 counties, but Bomet and Embu have been singled out for the better part of the day, noting the peculiar incidents that are associated with the 2 counties. If I just give you briefly explain to you the incident that was witnessed here in Bomet, that in the morning, right where we are, some of the aspirants, including nominated member of Parliament, that was also Sion, Joyce Correa, who is actually vying for Bomet Central.
Embu telling us a little bit about the challenges that they have been facing. Counting did start at 7 p.m. as he has just told us. So far, looks like Jonathan is ahead, but we haven't completed the exercise yet. IEBC will make the confirmation and the announcement once they are done. And also, we do have Wycliffe from Bomet, who also was talking about the challenges. However, at the end, we couldn't get much because of the loudspeaker, but we'll definitely keep you updated. throughout this evening and also tomorrow morning, you can catch us on the morning show for the latest updates. We also do have the updates for you on our website and our various social media platforms. Now, the High Court has revoked the 20-year lease of Mumia's Sugar Company to Ugandan-based conglomerate that is Sai Group. Justice Alfred Mabea ruled that the lease was not in the best interest of the creditor and farmers. The court subsequently ordered the immediate removal of Ramana Rao as the receiver manager and appointed Karato Marima as the new administrator. This and more from the courts.
It was the sale of relief for farmers of Mumia's Sugar Company on Thursday as the High Court revoked its 20-year lease to Sarai Holdings. Justice Alfred Mabea ruled that there was no valid justification in offering the lease to Sarai, which had bid to revive the company at a cost of 5.8 billion shillings, leaving out the highest bidder, West Kenya Sugar Company Limited, at 36.7 billion shillings.
It is even more unfortunate that Rao did not produce the lease in court to enable the court to make a more informed decision as to its terms and conclude whether it would benefit Mumias as a going concern or not.
Justice Mabea subsequently replaced the receiver manager Ramana Rao with Karato Marima as the new administrator.
Mumias would perpetually remain under receivership and administration. It would permanently remain an asset under KCB and maybe a retirement home for Rao.
The new receiver manager is to compute all assets and debts owed by Mumia's Sugar Company within a period of 60 days and file the same in court. Meanwhile, 7 petitioners have moved to court seeking to amend the Political Parties Act to allow independent candidates to form coalitions, create an office of the Registrar of Independent Candidates, and provide for formation of licensing committee for independent candidates.
People power. Free Kenya. Everywhere. Everywhere. Free Kenya.
KBC Board of Directors, Management and Staff wishes all our esteemed listeners, viewers and clients a happy Easter. May Christ's death and resurrection fill you with hope and peace. Happy Easter from us.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
Welcome back. We're so glad that you're still here with us. Now, the hilly Kasambara village, which is a magnificent bird's view of Lake Elementaita, Nakuru County, would be ideal for a thrilling adventure in hiking, birding, swimming, and nightlife. Tonight on Magical Scenes, Irene Muchuma Odim highlights attractions in Kasambara.
Driving through this rocky Maram terrain would be the beginning of an adventurous journey as the breathtaking sceneries of Kasambara reveal themselves. Seven kilometers off the Gilgil-Nakuru Highway, the magical vantage view of Lake Elementaita wraps you in this pure and calm serenity of this heavenly paradise. Lake Elementaita, which was declared a Ramsar site in 2005, is a wetland site designated to be of international importance due to its value in conservation. This is a bird's paradise. It's a natural breeding and feeding ground for many threatened bird species. The lake is a haven for bird lovers, priding in over 450 bird species, including migratory birds such as flamingos.
Expect the aspect of a lake and expect being on top of a mountain, and to also just square that, we do organize excursions to the lake for clients or other residents who are staying with us, and we'll take them for a picnic by the lake. If they want to go and see flamingos, we do organize excursions for them to go and see flamingos.
Because it's up on the hill, the walk is nice, the air is nice, and it's quite relaxing.
This luxurious escape from the bustle of any busy town is perfect for a romantic getaway, a relaxed and rejuvenating vacation, and a nature lover's retreat.
Average occupancy is about 80% daily basis, and weekends we are fully booked.
Hiking up these rolling hills gives one the needed smell of fresh mountain air at the center of luxurious amenities.
It's not just about the lake, but where you're putting up, whether you're on holiday or on business meeting. Comfort is very key. The destination is arguably magical owing to the beautiful environment and favorable weather, one that is dotted with well-kept facilities to suit your needs.
At dusk, a gust of wind blows so strongly, but with the lighting of bonfires, the party, business meetings, and leisure continues. Irene Mchuma Odim, Magical Sense in the county of Nakuru.
ICT Cabinet Secretary Joe Musheru is challenging telecommunication operators to collaborate in the deployment of infrastructure to help reduce the cost of services. Musheru says infrastructure sharing could significantly help save investment costs and reduce duplication. He says such benefits can be passed to consumers through reduced cost of services.
The government has been advocating telecommunication service providers to share infrastructure in order to grow availability of services across the country. To this end, ICT Cabinet Secretary Joe Musheru says he has formed a task force that is reviewing and developing regulations on infrastructure sharing to save investment costs, prevent duplication of similar infrastructure, and ultimately reduce the cost of telecommunication service. Speaking at the launch of the second phase of the Universal Service Fund Voice Infrastructure Connectivity Project in Akiriamet, West Pokot, Musheru said the government is keen on having ICT infrastructure, especially in marginalized areas.
Because elections are part of the usage of the networks, we expect now in West Pokot all polling stations will be fully covered with 4G. Not just 2G or 3G, which they've been asking for.
The Communications Authority of Kenya has connected 14 sub-locations to mobile network services in West Pokot as the authority seeks to avail communication services to 101 areas across 19 counties by June this year under the Universal Service Fund.
The Communications Authority and USF, or the Universal Service Fund, are ensuring that we are funding so that every Kenyan has access. So other than elections, there are many other services. People can use these for their digital jobs.
The focus is to serve the unserved and underserved areas.
We have gone every valley, every hill.
Chiloba cautioned those involved in vandalism of telecommunication infrastructure or opposing setting up of ICT infrastructure.
Must kama hii imewekwa hapa ni kuhakikisha kwamba wananchi wote ambao wanaweza kupata proper communication watahusika katika kulinda usalama wa area hii.
CA plans to roll out the third phase of the USF project, which will target 68 marginalized sub-locations. Caroline Jenga for Prime Edition.
For a period of time now, many youth have chosen to engage in agribusiness, partly due to their inability to secure formal employment. Their efforts have largely paid off, albeit the challenges in most cases in financing. In this week's edition of Young and Industrious, Wycliffe Okech engages Steve Sunday, a 30-year-old poultry farmer in Kisumu who quit a lucrative job to venture into poultry farming.
After 5 years into formal employment, Steve Sunday, the proprietor of Kamsa Poultry Limited, felt it was time to pursue his interest in agribusiness when he founded the farm in 2014. Today, the 38-year-old food science and technology graduate from Egerton University gives us a glimpse of his journey in the business.
Basically, when I was starting, it was just a small thing I was doing back home. Working in Nairobi and setting it up in Kisumu. It was something to keep the guys that I left looking after the home busy. So we started off with my savings, did some local chicken from neighbors, which did not do so well. So further research showed me that there are better breeds of chicken, there are better management systems, and there are better feed qualities that goes into a chicken business.
While starting off, Sunday dealt in both chicken for meat and yellow yolk eggs, but would later specialize in eggs alone.
Later on, in the year 2017-2018, my market research showed that people preferred eggs more than chicken meat because of its affordability. So from 2017, we've been scaling up on eggs and phased out chicken for meat.
Over time, Sunday's mere savings could not sustain the business, which was now growing exponentially. His efforts to secure credit from financial institutions did not pay off either, highlighting the financial challenges the youth experience in their pursuit for an alternative means of employment.
I approached several banks. They were reluctant to finance. One being that poultry is a risky business. Two being that I was not experienced in that kind of business.
Upon securing funds from the Youth Enterprise Development Fund, Sunday's satisfaction is now evident. He currently runs a stock of 6,000 hybrid layers, where he fetches averagely 150 trays of eggs a day, with hotels as his biggest market.
Poultry business also has a higher turnover, and it has a shorter payback period because for layers it takes about 5 months for them to start laying, and they lay continuously, that's every day, for 18 months. If you have 100 birds, with good management, you're supposed to be collecting between 80 and 90 eggs daily. When you convert that to cash, it's a high turnover, meaning that there is good cash flow for the business.
But the high profit margins require immense care for the birds, something Sunday says should be done by a person with adequate knowledge in poultry rearing.
Poultry vaccinations are mostly administered through drinking water. One is administered as eye drops to individual birds, and then there are 3 that are injectables. So because of the huge number, and vaccines efficacies are only in less than 2 hours, meaning that when you open one vial of vaccine, you need to administer it in less than 2 hours, or it becomes useless because they are heat sensitive.
The half-an-acre parcel that Sunday acquired midway accommodates 2 5,000 capacity hen houses, chicken feed store and offices, where he manages his 12 employees in the finance and production departments. Sunday attributes the success of his business to proper bookkeeping and employee accountability. Looking back through his journey, Sunday believes more young Kenyans should consider poultry agribusiness, not only for employment but also to improve the country's food security.
Eggs are a good poultry food, good for children who are growing up for their growth and development. Other than that, it creates employment, and if we could have more people doing poultry as a business, then we would be a step in improving the food security of the country.
Despite the success he has seen so far, Sunday says imported eggs have greatly destabilized retail prices, much to the disadvantage of local poultry farmers. He therefore calls upon the government to initiate policies that will make the poultry industry more favorable to local farmers. Wycliffe Okech for Prime Edition.
That segment is becoming quite popular. I do want to take you now to Nandi, where we do have our reporter Timothy Kipnusu, and we are just getting reports that there is chaos currently being witnessed at Peter's polling station, and this just started when the counting was ongoing. Those are live pictures from Nandi. Timothy Kipnusu will continue keeping us updated. Remember, you can catch all the news live on the UDA nominations on our website, on not TikTok actually, on Twitter, and also on Facebook. I can see Karen having a laugh. But eventually we will get to TikTok. Now, moving on now, where the 11th Connected Kenya Summit came to a close Thursday, with delegates calling for more collaboration between the public and the private sector. Speakers at the meeting called for the development of a clear roadmap on how the two sectors can come together to address ICT challenges facing the country. Brian Kimani has the highlights of the 4-day conference.
After 4 days of deep dialogues and smart conversations, the 11th edition of the Connected Kenya Summit came to a close today, with various players calling for deeper collaborations between the private and the public sectors. The highlights of the meeting was the launch of the National Digital Master Plan that was launched on Tuesday by Cabinet Secretary for ICT, Joe Mosheru. Here is the CS with the highlights of that important document.
The master plan proposes to deploy over 100,000 kilometers of fiber optic infrastructure to 40,000 schools and other learning institutions, 20,000 government institutions, 13,000 health facilities, 25,000 hotspots to support youth and innovators in establishment of over 1,450 wards digital innovation hubs.
ICT Cabinet Secretary Joe Mosheru there highlighting the importance of the National Digital Master Plan that was launched on Tuesday. The gender digital divide was another topic of conversation that took place here, with women calling for a more proactive role by both the public and the private sector to ensure that the country manages to close the gender digital divide.
One of the things we are talking about when we talk about women here, and the reason that we are here looking at women in tech, is because the inclusivity is missing in the space. So we need to be very deliberate in bringing on board women, the women energy that is there, bringing on board other minorities into this space.
Well, during the Connected Kenya Summit 2022, there was a clarion call from stakeholders to integrate regional countries through ICT platforms.
Assuring a thriving technological sector is critical to the future of East African economy. It is a critical growth, critical to job creation, and critical to raising our regional productivity.
Well, more than 1,500 delegates converged here in Diani for the 11th edition of the Connected Kenya Summit. there are now calls for the meeting to become a regional affair.
While citizens are the primary focus for this transformation, as they should be, there is also a focus on transforming government to business and government to government interactions, with the aim of strengthening the codependencies that exist in the highly integrated environment.
Well, and as the curtains came down for the 11th Connected Kenya Summit here in Diani, there is elevated hope that the lessons that have been learned here will be applied going forward in a bid, number one, to close the gender divide, as well as make ICT devices more accessible to the population.
I have learned so much that I did not know, like from cyber security, something as easy as Gmail being a space that is not very safe in terms of what you own as a Kenyan, like digital property, and protecting your property in terms of digital content that you're creating, something that we do normally needs security. I did not know that, but now I am sure of how to protect it and how to go about so many things in the cyberspace and digital security.
And as we look forward for the Connected Kenya Summit for 2023, there is optimism that the lessons here will be applied and there will be a lot of collaborations between the private and the public sector. From Diani, my name is O'Brien Kimani.
Ili kupata mafuta kupanda kama skiza tune kwenye simu yako, bonyeza *811 397 hash.
Nashukuru serikali kwa kuongeza bei ya mafuta. Sasa niko kwa highway na hakuna traffic hata kidogo. Naomba serikali iendelee hivyo, tubaki tu watu ya gasla na heavy machine peke yake. Pia mimi naomba huyu serikali waseme kama gari yako ni below 3000 cc, gari yako
ili kupata mafuta kupanda kama skiza tune, bonyeza *811 397 hash. *811 397 hash.
The legendary run to Olympia Stadion in Berlin is now less crowded, with only 4 teams out of 64 still in contention. Something more outstanding is that all of the sides to have won the DFB Pokal over the last 29 years are already out this year.
And Leverkusen are knocked out by a Bundesliga 2 side.
In the first DFB Pokal semi-final, Hamburger SV will face Freiburg on Tuesday, the 19th of April 2022 at 9:45 p.m. While in the second semi-final, RB Leipzig will lock horns with Union Berlin on Wednesday, the 20th April 2022 at 9:45 p.m. Having braced the turbulent journey and buoyed up with the trophy inside, no team want to go down without a fight. You don't want to miss this adventurous football show, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Welcome back. Let's now delve into matters sports. My name is Karen Kibet. Now, the Kenya Tourism Board has today renewed its partnership with the World Marathon record holder Eliud Kipchoge as the Magical Kenya Ambassador. The partnership is part of the continued efforts by the board to leverage Kenya's status as a global sporting powerhouse to market the destination to the world. Eliud was first signed as Kenya's Tourism Ambassador in 2020, a partnership that saw the champion promote Kenya as a preferred tourism destination locally, regionally, and internationally through various campaigns. Speaking during the announcement at an event held at Karura Forest, Eliud Kipchoge said that he was honored to renew his partnership with the Magical Kenya as its destination ambassador, noting that his love for Kenya made the engagement fulfilling to him.
Because we want to profile our conservation areas, but also we want to profile the program that we do jointly in Kenya for conservation.
You cannot change your parents and you cannot change the location you are born.
Yeah. So we are born in Kenya, and this is our own business. So thank you very much, and I'm looking forward for a wonderful partnership.
The 2014 Commonwealth Games 5,000-meter gold medalist Mercy Cherono was in a class of her own, easily winning the women's 5,000-meter final on day one of the Kenya Police Service Athletics Championships at the Kasarani Stadium. Meanwhile, Wycliffe Kinyamal secured a place in the 400-meter men's final after finishing first in Heat 2 of the semi-finals.
Cherono braved stiff opposition to win the women's 5,000 meters final after clocking 15 minutes and 20 seconds. Beatrice Chebet came in second, while Caroline Nyaga finished third.
Kama mwanariadha unatarajia kila kitu ikuwe fast, ikuwe slow, so hakuna uoga yoyote. Nilikuwa natarajia hata ikuwe faster alafu ndio tukimbie time vizuri. But nilifika wakati katikati nikasema wacha nijaribu nguvu yangu nione vile nitaenda.
In the men's 400 meter semi-final, Wycliffe Kimanyal won Heat 2 ahead of Emmanuel Mutua and Zacchaeus Kuvale, who finished second and third respectively.
Kwa mbio hawezi jua kama utashinda, bali ni kuingia tu kwa uwanja, kwa sababu hawezi jua nani ndiye ametrain vizuri na nani hajatrain vizuri. Sasa huwa tunakujanga kwa mbio kama ujui unaenda kushinda, lakini all of a sudden kama umetrain vizuri unashinda.
In the women's semi-finals, Helen Simbiwa also advanced to the finals after an outstanding performance.
Miss Lalange, and I always train with men, no ladies, because the more I train a lady, no challenge.
Definitely I was expecting a win, though I knew they're good, but I just had to do my best. Okay, the only thing that I wanted is just doing my best.
The finals of the Kenya Police Service Athletics Championships will be held tomorrow, where the Kenya Police team will be named ahead of the national championship. The two-day event will help in the selection of a team that will represent the Kenya Police in national and international events. For Prime Edition Sports, I'm Dan.
Thank you, Dan, for that report. Moving on, still in athletics, the reigning Africa 100-meter record holder Ferdinand Omanyala produced an outstanding performance to win the Athletics South Africa Grand Prix in Germiston. Omanyala clocked 9.98 seconds to win the race, ahead of former African record holder Akani Simbine of South Africa and Bradley Nkoana, who completed the podium dash. This was Omanyala's second 100-meter race of the outdoor season, having opened his campaign last weekend in South Africa.
8 runners. Away they go, first time, a good start from Omanyala and Simbine, but it's flat. Here they go, the two in the middle lanes, but it's Omanyala, he's going to crush this one. A superb run, 9.98, what a run. Omanyala has smashed it here in Germiston. A sensation. Ferdinand Omanyala has brought his A game. The beast has really set the Easter light.
Well, come of the hour and come of the man, speed, size, and a 9.98 unofficial. Look at just the delight in his face. That is Ferdinand Omanyala, the fastest man on the African continent. Just look at this start. A lovely blast out of the blocks, put under pressure by Akani in the early stages, but just put the hammer down, and he just flew away. Ferdinand Omanyala.
Congratulations, Ferdinand Omanyala. Those are all the sports stories we had for you tonight. Tomorrow we'll definitely keep you posted of all the other sports stories that will be there, including the Kenya Police Service Athletics Championships, which will be going on at the Kasarani Stadium. My name is Karen Kibet. Do have yourself a peaceful night, but the broadcast is not yet over, as I do hand you back to Cynthia Nyamai.
Thank you, Karen, for all the action in sports. Now, just a few of your comments. We have Maivia Musunga in Masinga, Brandon Rono in Bomet, and John Gashoka in Nyandarua, Faith Cherotich in Njoro, all sending greetings and saying that they are watching. As you can see, everyone around the nation is watching KBC. We will continue to give you highlights on the UDA nomination. But for now, we have to close down for a few hours. I do want to wish you a good night and happy Easter from me and the rest of the team.
Run to Olympia Stadion in Berlin is now less crowded, with only 4 teams out of 64 still in contention. Something more outstanding is that all of the sides to have won the DFB Pokal over the last 29 years are already out this year.
And Leverkusen are knocked out by a